What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we've got a Total War Warhammer 2 versus 2 multiplayer battle for you, and this is the last of the series of three 2 versus 2 randoms that I played with DahvPlays against Turin and Italian Spartacus. So for this match, you'll see that we have taken Mucilian, and we've also taken the von Karstein subfaction. So we are using the vampire armies, and we are facing off against Brettonia. Now this time Turin and Italian Spartacus have both taken the Brettonia faction instead of any subfactions. So we'll see if switching it up and keeping their unified Brettonia front is going to help them out today. So over here on the right for DahvPlays, you'll see that he was given in this random draft. Since we take all the spells, we take everything we're given, he was given the Red Duke up on that flying dragon. So if you look down there, you'll see we keep all the spells. So I think the vampires is actually a really hard faction to choose for random, because of the fact that they do get zombies and stuff like that, and we all know that putting chevrons into zombies really doesn't help a lot. So I think there's so many expensive units, and I think it really is a little bit painful for the vampires to do these random armies. Here on the right, you'll see that he's got the Dire Pack as well as these Hex Wraiths. So these are those ethereal armor piercing cavalry. I mean, they look pretty cool, but we will have a hard time using them against Brettonia. I mean, Brettonia's going to have a ton of cavalry. They've probably got some magic damage on their cavalry, and we'll have a really hard time. Here in the front, you'll see we do have the Tithe. Dav also's got some Graveguard with great weapons. He's got the Königstein Stalkers, which are those skeleton warriors, Regiment of Renown. They're a little bit stronger than your typical skeletons. We do have this 2 groups of Black Knights here in the back. Actually, sorry, it was 3 groups of Black Knights that he had, and each one has got chevrons in it. So this is going to be a major part of his army over here. You see, he's got 1 silver chevron there. He's got I think 2 bronze chevrons and 3 bronze chevrons here. So those are some really expensive cavalry units. Over here on the left, he does have those Crypt Ghouls, the Feasters in the Dusk, which are another Regiment of Renown. And we just got tons of Regiments of Renown. I mean, look at those. They've got their really cool models. They do have poison, and they should be able to do, a good amount of damage to those weak Brettonia units. He's also got the Sternsmen, which are the Regiment of Renown Graveguard. They've got silver shields. They've got regeneration. They're actually really strong units. So we were really glad we got those. But overall, if you just take a look from above, I mean, it is actually a not a huge army for Dav over here. Besides those units on the right, which are actually really expensive. Over here for my army, you'll see on the left, I've done the same thing. I do have the Dire Pack over here, those Regiment of Renowned Direwolves. They're anti-large, and so I was hoping to use them to try to catch out some cavalry. Besides that, I also have a large cavalry contingent. So if you see here, we've got Black Knights with lances. They've got a chevron in them. We've got a regular group of Black Knights. We do have this second group of Black Knights, and we also have Varix Reavers, which are those Regiment now with Black Knights with lances. They've got shields. They're, I mean, pretty high defense and attack, and I mean, they're overall they're just a real good standard average cav force. So even though they're shocked, they are able to do a little bit of damage when they're in main battle. Over here on the for this side, you'll see the Chill Guys, those Hex Wraiths. They do have magic damage. They have armor piercing. They're ethereal. They cause terror, so there is some use for those amongst our army as well. Here for my main army, you'll see I do have 2 groups of Crypt Ghouls as well as the Feasters in the Dust. So these Crypt Ghouls, they do poison, they do a lot of damage, and if I can use the zombies and everything in the front line to kind of soak up the hits, those Crypt Ghouls should be able to do some pretty good damage against the weaker Brettonia units. They'll have a hard time getting through the armor though. For my main legendary lord here, we've got the daddy himself, Vlad von Karstein. I mean, but he has all his spells, and he's on foot, so he is not going to be as mobile as I would typically like for one of my armies. But sometimes the RNG gods just give you what you get. Like these 1 gold chevron zombies. So you see here, with the gold chevron, they're up to 9 attack, 10 defense. I mean, there's nothing really you get from that. So it is just a huge waste of money to spend any gold on upgrading your zombies. Here in the front, I am trying to use these Karn Wraiths to kind of take up some of the charge. They cause terror, ethereal. But if there's any, you know, Grail Reliquary on the other side, we'll have a trouble because it won't work with those terror-causing units. Here in the front, you'll see that both Turin and Italian Spartacus, I think, have these mounted yeoman archers. They're going to put them right in the front, and they're going to cause some you know, attacks to go off right away, and they'll you know, they'll be able to do some good damage since we don't have any archers to counter. Over here on the right for Turin, because he's got that flying lord, Turin's got the companions of canals. So those are those questing knight regiment are now. They're the new ones. I mean, they're pretty cool. Look at that barding that their horses have. I mean, they're awesome with those two-handed swords. Those are just, I mean, those are awesome units. He's also got the Knights of the Lionhearted. So with that magic attack that those Knights of the Lionhearted have, we're gonna have some real trouble with those ethereal units. Over here, we've also got some mounted yeomen, which, you know, really aren't too great, but what they will be able to do is they'll be able to provide some fodder so that these heavier, stronger elite cavalry units will not take as much damage. Over here, he's also got the defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. So, I mean, look at all the elite cavalry. I mean, both sides have tons of cavalry. So this is going to be a nasty cav battle. He's also got, you know, Turin's also got these Grail Guardians, and that pretty much rounds out his cav force. So that is just nasty. He's got some peasant bowmen and fire arrows. He's also in the front here, got some peasant mobs, some men at arms. So neither of us really got a heavy front line. We all pretty much got cav. I mean, luckily for them, they did get this Grail Reliquary, which will give its aura icon of devotion. It's immune to psychology, so that's going to really you know, be painful for a lot of our vampire units that cause fear and terror. He's also got a paladin, and he does have his legendary lord here on a griffin, and so that, you know, that is not bad. There's not going to be a lot we're going to be able to do to take him down. I think the Red Duke is going to be flying around. But I believe that, you know, with the huge amount of Royal Pegasus Knights, and they've got over here on the left, plus having King Lewin up here on a Griffin, I mean, we are not going to be able to hold the air. So that Red Duke is going to be in for some real trouble. Over here on Italian Spartacus side, for his front line, you'll see he's got a couple groups of peasant mob. I mean, they do have a few chevrons in them, but nothing like the gold chevron that I have in my zombies. He's also got some men at arms with shields, and he does also have some good cav. He's got the Grail Guardians, he's got the Royal Pegasus Knights. So his army is you know, I almost forgot, he's got these two blessed field trebuchet and then a regular field trebuchet. So these things are actually going to do some pretty heavy damage. Since we don't have too many units, if those trebuchets hit, they're gonna cause us some major problems. So he also has a Grail Reliquary, and he also has a Damsel of Beast. So, you know, since we're keeping all the spells, that Damsel of Beast will have a lot of different things she can do. She can even, you know, maybe, you know, raise a mana core, or, you know, we'll have to see what he decides to do with those beast spells. So overall, you'll see we have 2,500 troops to 1,700, so that's a pretty good number of vampires. We're not doing too bad. And let's just go ahead and see how this battle started. So right off the bat, you'll see that he does start getting these mounted yeomen shooting in. And it looks like he's also bringing in this group of mounted yeomen as well. So as long as they're shooting the zombies, though, we're okay. I mean, I have no problem. It looks like he is going to shoot at some skeleton warriors over here, which they have bronze shields, but you know, we're not doing too bad. But the main problem is going to be those field trebuchets in the beginning, because they're going to cause us you know, some heavy hits once they get them targeting those graveguard. Over here, if we take a look from above, you'll just see that we are starting to posture. So we're trying to get these hex race and the dire back around the edges. I'm going to go ahead and put the chill guys up front. We're just trying to really see what we can do. We can get around, and he's also got, oh man, the Red Duke is in trouble now. So he's got everything chasing that Red Duke. He's, you know, Dav has already put Invocation on there. He's already put the Foe Seeker on there. But if we look at this, I mean, look at just the huge amount of units which are surrounding him. That is pretty cool looking, but there is not going to be much he's going to do. So you see, look at his leadership is dropping quick, and I'm pretty sure he's just going to get taken right off the field. I mean, we are able to get engaged a little bit in here. You see here, the chill guys are diving in. We've got those hex race which are coming in. We're just trying to do whatever we can to kind of, you know, use our cavalry to get things started and you know, kind of rout off some of that front line. But I mean, you know, the Red Duke, Undeath Resurgent, Red Fury, Arcane Conduit, Dav is popping everything he can, but there is not going to be much you're going to do to keep the Red Duke away from these Royal Pegasus Knights and King Lewin. Even with El Sif on him, I mean, you know, look at that. That is just, I mean, that is going to be a major problem for us to lose the Red Duke this early. You see he's crumbling, 600, 300, 180, and down he goes. Oh man, you just see him land there, and that is going to be a big problem for us. Over here on the left, you'll see we have got the Cav engage, these Black Knights with lances. I had tons of Black Knights, but I was just slammed. This Lord was able to get in there and assist his Knights over there, and since they do have those flaming attacks, I mean, we're having some major trouble. Luckily for me, I mean, I still do have a lot of cavalry to go. So as you see here, we're just streaming in. We're trying to take out as many of the, you know, the enemy cavalry as we can, and we're just gonna go ahead and we're also trying to get the main lines engaged. So you see here, we've got the Varix Reavers. I'm just charging in the back, and we're trying to rout off whatever we can. The only main problem for us is, I mean, even though I'm in here, we've got the Feasters in here, we've got all, you know, Black Knights, we've got Karn Race, we've got everything in here, but I mean, he's just able to get in here with the mobility that he's given from these Royal Pegasus Knights. Italian is causing a huge amount of trouble for me. So if you see here, the Crypt Ghouls already have 31. I mean, we're fully engaged with our front line. We've actually got the Black Knights here in the back, so we are taking out those field trebuchets. And, you know, Varix Reavers are going to look at, we're just going to get as many charges as we can into the back of the Grail Guardians. We're going to try to get a surround going on. But these Regiments Renowned cavalry that he's got is just heavy damage. Over here on the right, you'll see that Dav is fully engaged also, but oh man, look at that charge from those Grail Guardians. So the fact that they have so much magic damage is just going to cause huge issues. I mean, he's already lost the Red Duke. Now these Karn Race and everything are engaged, you know, engaged by the Grail Guardians, which have magic damage. And even though he has surrounded them with the Feasters in the Dusk, they will fight for a long time, those Grail Guardians. Here in the back, you'll see that, I mean, we have managed to get these field trebuchets pretty much offline. There's tons of units that are routed, but I mean, these Pegasus Knights are still just flying around looking for trouble. Here in my main army, you see I've managed to get my blob going. I feel pretty good about it. I've got a lot of this cavalry surrounded, but my cavalry is taking heavy hits. So my Black Knights are pretty low, but so are the Knights of the Lionhearted. I mean, oh wow, did you see that charge come in there? That Lord on that flying mount is gonna just be able to push Vlad, you know, all over the place. The fact that Vlad's on foot was not something that made me happy. And now with Vlad surrounded by the companions of Canel, that is, you know, look at, there's just all sorts of cavalry ready to fight. Oh, look at that Feral Manicore. So you can tell it's summoned. You see that static coming off of it. And he is really focusing fire hard on Vlad. But luckily for me, I still do have a bunch of zombies, and I've got all sorts of stuff here, but you know, the leadership is dropping fast. My buddy over here, Dav, he's taking some heavy losses. If we look from above, you'll see those Hex Wraiths are gone on both sides. You can just see the huge amount of dead Hex Wraith bodies all over the place. They're spread over here. And I mean, the fact that we had all those ethereal units against Brettonia with their magical damage cav, it made it very difficult here in the beginning of this match. These Karn Wraiths are pretty much out of leadership. So are the Grave Guard. I mean, the Feasters in Dusk are crumbling here, and so Dav is actually crumbling really quickly. The fact that we, you know, with that random generator getting that Red Duke in the air, that was always going to be nothing but trouble. Over here on my side, you'll see I'm also starting to crumble. So even though I have been tossing my invocations into heck on here, Vlad's is right in here providing his aura, trying to keep everyone together. I mean, even when I mean, look at these Knights of the Lionheart. They're fighting with 5 units left. You know, he is just super high up here in his leadership. They've still got those trebuchets firing in. I don't know if you saw those rocks landing. I mean, just look at just the huge number of bodies spread across the top of this hill. This was, I mean, if you look, there's just body after body. There is just a ton of dead units for us. And here's another cycle charge from these Grail Guardians. I think that's probably the second set of Grail Guardians over there. And if we take a look, you'll see that the vampires just crumbled. I mean, you know, the King Lewin is still almost full health here. He's regenerating, nowhere near his cap. The Lord is doing great. I mean, we were able to take out about half of those Royal Pegasus Knights, but half of them was just not enough. Even though we did rout off, I mean, you see some peasant bowmen or some mounted yeomen. We just did not get nearly enough kills to win this battle today. So the final game in the series went to Turin and Italian Spartacus. Overall, they were great fun games. I hope you guys enjoyed watching them. Let's take a look at this post-battle wrap-up. So here you see Vlad, 19 kills. His spells were really trying to be used to keep everyone alive back here. And I mean, I did do okay. The Varix Reavers and the Chill guys, I mean, we were able to get 84 with the Dire Pack. I took some pretty, I got some pretty heavy kills on some of those cavalry units from Turin. I mean, if you see here, the Knights of the Lionhearted are pretty much gone. But, I mean, he was able to keep these units alive. I mean, even without a healing spell, you notice they didn't even get a caster with this random. They were able to get 250 kills with those Grail Guardians, 212 with the Companions of Canel, and 99 with this group of polearms. So, I mean, you know, it's always a high battle kill number when you're facing against the vampires, but we did not have, you know, we did not have as good of a time with our cavalry as they had with theirs. So if you look here at my army, those expensive zombies didn't do any better than the typical ones, so that's no fun. The skeleton warriors got 7. You know, I was able to get some kills with those crypt ghouls, even though the feasters and the dusk were kind of targeted. But we really did have trouble with these black knights and the lances and barding, Varix Reavers. These are all really expensive units, and we just, I don't think, got quite enough kills to pull out the victory. You know, these ethereal units really could have been a little bit better replaced. For Dahv's army, he had a lot more trouble because the Red Duke, if you see 0, the only thing he tried to do is survive. I think if he had maybe gotten to run around a little bit more, stayed in the very back of the map, maybe we could have dragged it out a little bit longer. But I mean, the Red Duke was taken out right in the beginning, as you guys saw. We also had like some rank 9 crypt ghouls. Or no, those are the feasters in the dust. Sorry. I mean, he had tons of regiments renowned: the Tide, the Constantine Stalkers, Stearnsmen, Dire Pack, even though, and plus these Hex Race, which even though they aren't regiment around, they're very expensive. So he really didn't have a lot of frontline units. Even he did have the Grave Guard, but you know, it just once you lose your legendary lord real early like that, everything else starts to crumble quickly. Over here for Italian Spartacus, you'll see King Lewin. The main thing he did was kill the Red Duke with that group, those 2 groups of Pegasus Knights, but they also got a ton of kills. So 138, 104. I mean, look at this. The Grail Guardians got 300 kills. I mean, that magic damage was just, that was super good. 71 with the field trebuchet, those things were firing nonstop. We were trying to get in there, and I think that actually was detrimental to us too, just trying to get in there. They had those field trebuchets well protected, and so when we tried to get in the back to stop that artillery fire, you know, we left ourselves open for some counterattacks. Here for Turin's army, you'll see he was able to get a ton of kills on that Lord and Paladin. I mean, they were fighting it out. The fact they had both Lords on those Griffins was really helpful. It gave them a lot of mobility and strength. You see here 212, 250. Even though we were able to kill out the Knights of the Lionhearted and those defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, I think those were the main ones we were able to kill and target. The other groups were really strong and just able to get in there and just get hundreds and hundreds of kills. So I just want to say thank you guys all so much for watching these last 3 games. If you didn't check out the other 2, please go check them out. They're really, really fun games. Thanks to DahvPlays, Italian Spartacus, and Turin for playing these games with me. I always enjoy it when we all get together. Hopefully you guys have checked out all their channels. They all have channels. They've all got great content. Obviously, you probably know who they all are. But, you know, please subscribe to my channel below if you enjoyed. I've got more great online content coming soon. This is Black Iron, and this has been another one of Black Iron's Battles.